Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't fucking with him no more. You understand? And they had a real big beef behind that.
That was Gene Deal, who during an interview openly disclosed that Sean Combs, commonly known as Puff, was on the brink of a significant conflict with Craig Mack due to management-related issues. If you think it's just Gene Deal, wait until you hear what Craig himself said.
Nothing happened, no money. So I stopped recording. I said, I'm not gonna be an idiot and sit here and do all this stuff for everybody, and I'm not gonna see anything from it.
Apparently, the popular claim is that this was the primary cause of the dispute between Craig and Diddy. Allegedly, not only did Diddy fail to compensate him fairly, but he also issued threats against him.
I caught a couple of threats, a couple of, passers-by in the street and everything else. I caught a couple of threats.
Now, there are speculations that Craig's outspokenness about his rights might have been the underlying reason for his untimely demise. This revelation has cast a significant shadow over Diddy. Nevertheless, he has consistently presented the following explanation.
First of all is there has been negative propaganda put out about me that's not true.
Undoubtedly, Biggie played a significant role in propelling Bad Boy Records to hip-hop prominence. However, it was Craig Mack's platinum hit single, Flavor in Your Ear, along with the star-studded and iconic remix and video that initially captured the imagination of every 90s kid watching The Box.
Here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor.
This track introduced us to the slim bottle-clinking mastermind now known as Puffy, and a then-upcoming rapper named Notorious B.I.G., who delivered one of the most memorable scene-stealing features in rap history. While Biggie may have built the foundation of Bad Boy, it's fair to say that Craig Mack secured the land upon which it was constructed.
It's my man, the Notorious B.I.G.
What's the deal? What's going on?
It's my man, Craig Mack. It's my foundation, you know what I'm saying? It's my life right here. We all need each other to live and breathe. And
so what became of our distinctively faced, twat-toting favorite? Well, he didn't end up banished to the Bad Boy basement like some other long-forgotten acts, or serving time for murder like G-Dep, or recovering from a stress-induced stroke after a grand larceny conviction like Black Rob. No, Craig Mack took another well-trodden path out of Bad Boy.
If you go back far enough with Craig, as one man called this morning, he said, I knew Craig, he said, I was one of his fans.
He joined the ranks of artists like Moses Michael Levi, formerly known as Shine, now an Orthodox Jewish gentleman, Amir Junaid Hawkins, formerly Loon, and currently incarcerated on drug charges, and former evangelical prosperity pastor Mason Betha, formerly Mace, no longer a pastor, who went by the more nefarious alter ego Murda Mace.
He said he made millions and millions of dollars. Now, a lot of folks don't believe that, Craig.
But what actually made him join a cult religion? Craig Mack was indeed one of the first artists to release music under Bad Boy Records. Initially, his career showed promise, but it eventually faced challenges. Some skeptics argue that his career was destined for difficulties right from the start. The emergence of the Notorious B.I.G. and Diddy's stable is often mentioned as a significant turning point, although the exact reason for Craig Mack's career decline remain a subject of speculation. There is no credible evidence to support claims of an attempted attack on Craig Mack's life related to his career struggles.
So I'm not gonna be an idiot and sit here and do all this stuff for everybody, and I'm not gonna see anything from it.
Craig Mack faced ongoing challenges related to his physical appearance, enduring hurtful comments and jokes within the hip-hop community. These insults, which targeted his looks, had taken a toll on his well-being. Interestingly, some of this animosity can be attributed to his perceived role in hindering Biggie's career. It's worth noting that Diddy, who seemed to harbor negative feelings toward Craig, didn't step in to support him during this difficult period.
And then Puff showed him. He was like, yo, I'm gonna show this. He think I'm playing with him. And then Craig was ostracized from Bad Boy.
Adding to the complexities of the situation, it appeared that Biggie also had reservations about collaborating with Mack.
Is Craig on the album?
Matt?
Yeah.
No. You can't curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
No.
Craig.
While Biggie and Craig Mack never publicly revealed the exact reasons for their strained relationship, their differences sparked a considerable amount of speculation within the hip-hop community.
Craig Mack and Biggie Smalls are from two different type of eras.
One popular claim is that Mack's reluctance to fully embrace Diddy's vision for a commercially successful rap career played a significant role in their discord. Apparently, Mack disapproved of Diddy's involvement in what he saw as morally questionable events, such as extravagant parties, excessive drinking, and attempts to exert control over the artists. Ultimately, Mack's downfall can be linked to his decision to resist Diddy's influence and direction. Feeling lost and in a difficult situation, Mack made the decision to part ways with Bad Boy Records. During this period, he expressed concerns that there were individuals actively plotting against him, adding to the challenges he faced. He said, "I caught a couple of threats, you know, a couple of passers-by in the streets." Following his departure from the music industry, Craig Mack largely disappeared from the public eye, with few television appearances. Over time, it became known that he had devoted himself to his faith and was actively practicing his religion.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah.
However, very few people know what immediately happened after he left Bad Boy. It appeared that Suge Knight recognized that this was his chance to undermine Puff Daddy due to their ongoing rivalry. With Tupac Shakur already in his camp and an array of other artists like MC Hammer signing on, Suge saw an opportunity to solidify his dominance in the music industry. When Craig Mack became available, Suge reached out to MC Hammer and encouraged him and others to join his side.
I don't know the intricate details of what they took, but I know they went up to the feds one day and they took some paperwork up there to him.
So MC Hammer convinced Suge to sign Craig as the iron was hot. Unfortunately, a series of events, including Tupac's tragic death and Suge Knight's incarceration, derailed the original plans for the label. Despite these setbacks, Craig Mack did not make it to the deal, but opted for another option: religion.
I guess when Puffy didn't have a lot of money, let me put two artists together in one. Put these two budgets together and we'll get this promotion out.
Unfortunately, he died without getting any compensation for the deserved music rights from Diddy. After facing criticism and mounting pressure, there is now news that Diddy has made the decision to return the music rights to the artists. The rapper and music mogul who founded Bad Boy Records in the 1990s has committed to giving back the label's publishing rights to all the artists and writers who had collaborated with the company.
According to multiple reports, Sean Combs is his full name, of course. He's reassigning the music publishing rights to artists who helped make his record.
Several Bad Boy artists, including Faith Evans, Mace, The Lox, 112, and the Notorious B.I.G.'s estate, have successfully reached agreements to regain their publishing rights. Despite receiving lucrative multi-million-dollar offers to purchase Bad Boy's publishing, Combs has chosen to return these rights to the label's artists and songwriters. This decision is allegedly driven by his commitment to promoting financial empowerment for artists, with a particular focus on supporting the Black community.
Artists who are expected to get their publishing rights back include the Notorious B.I.G.'s estate, Faith Evans, and Mace.
Craig Mack's financial difficulties became evident when he shared an interview with Primetime Music, which was later shared by Vlad TV. In this interview, Mack described a situation where an unidentified individual had persuaded him to work on another album. Mack said he agreed to the project at a reduced rate for his services. But as they began the project, Mack had already started recording tracks when the person unexpectedly informed him that they could only provide 1/3 of the originally agreed upon payment, causing financial strain for Mack. Fortunately, due to Craig Mack's deep passion for music and his determination to see the project to completion, he was willing to work with the unnamed individual to overcome the financial challenges.
You know what I'm saying? I'll take a third again. I'll take a third again when we finish the actual recording of the album. Nothing happened. No money.
They reached a revised agreement where Mack would receive 1/3 of the initially agreed upon payment up front. It was understood that the individual would continue making payments as the project progressed, and the final 1/3 would be provided upon the completion of the album. This arrangement was supposed to allow Mack to pursue his artistic vision while addressing the financial constraints at hand. But despite the revised agreement, Craig Mack continued to face issues with receiving payments as promised. Growing increasingly frustrated with the situation, he eventually decided to halt the recording process. This decision led to a phone call from the unnamed individual, and tensions escalated during their conversation. Mack recounted that the phone call began with the individual asserting that Mack owed them an album. He said, "And I'm like, excuse my French, but I don't owe you you owe me money. So if you can come up with the rest of this dough, we can come up with the rest of the album. No dough, no records. That's it. In response to the escalating situation, Craig Mack took proactive measures. He organized a meeting with the unnamed individual, scheduling it at an undisclosed studio for a face-to-face confrontation at 7 p.m. To ensure his safety, Mack brought along one of his associates who was armed. Upon arriving at the studio with his armed companion, Mack sensed immediately that the other party had hostile intentions toward him. Despite reiterating his earlier terms, it appeared that the individual remained unwilling to find a middle ground. This tense meeting left Mack worried about potential repercussions within their social and professional circles.
I had a in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this.
Amidst receiving death threats, speculation arose that these threats played a pivotal role in Craig Mack's departure from Bad Boy Records and his subsequent embrace of an undisclosed religious path. Following this unsettling period, Mack withdrew from the public eye, refraining from television appearances. However, he re-emerged through a video released by the Overcomer Ministry, a secretive Christian group located in South Carolina which has garnered controversy and been labeled a cult by former members. This reappearance added an element of intrigue to Mack's life and his connection with this controversial organization.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah.
At one point in his career, Craig Mack appeared poised to become a major force in the rap world. With his debut, he was racking up awards and record sales at an impressive pace. But apparently these moments of success proved to be tragically short-lived. Craig left the music industry as abruptly as he entered it, not without his fair share of tumultuous experiences. In fact, his time in the industry took him to the brink of a deadly outcome. Shockingly, in Craig's previously undisclosed final interview, he expressed a disturbing desire to harm Diddy, revealing a darker side to his tumultuous journey.
Craig wanted his money for his music, so Puff said, yo, I ain't with that kid no more.
Craig Mack experienced the extreme highs and lows of the music industry in a remarkably short span of time. He skyrocketed to fame, achieving immense success and seemingly invincible status, only to be subsequently forgotten. The rapid rise and fall of his career were largely attributed to one individual, the infamous music producer Diddy. Diddy was the driving force behind both the creation and demise of Craig's career, a revelation that left Craig so embittered that he contemplated extreme measures, including harming Diddy.
And I'm sorry. I was thinking about trying to do this to somebody because it was really in my heart to him. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna do it.
Craig Mack's relationship with Diddy was marred by repeated instances of perceived wrongdoing, whether it was hindering his rap career or allegedly taking advantage of his financial situation. Diddy's actions continually tested Craig's patience. One such incident involved Diddy asking Craig to record at the studio but then reportedly refusing to compensate him for his work, adding to the list of grievances in their tumultuous association.
I'm just gonna say somebody that wanted to do another album with me. So I said, cool, I gave him my price, and the price to me was low.
Craig Mack, characterized by his kindness and naivety, initially signed agreements with Diddy that he later came to regret. In the cutthroat music industry, Diddy had earned a reputation as someone who could not fully be trusted, with a willingness to seize every opportunity to benefit himself financially. Over time, Craig became aware of this dynamic and chose to sever ties with Diddy, recognizing that continuing to work with him posed significant financial risks.
And I'm not gonna see anything from it. You know, next thing I know, money come, you know, with this bullish mafia mentality with him and his goons.
People ultimately came to the conclusion that Diddy's reputation as an entitled figure in the music industry, someone who believed that others owed him even when he failed to compensate them, led to increasing tensions with Craig Mack. Craig's decision to distance himself from Diddy was a reflection of his realization that Diddy could be a manipulative presence. Diddy's association with gangs, thugs, and the allure of the mafia lifestyle did little to dispel this perception. Consequently, it wasn't entirely surprising when Craig revealed that Diddy had attempted to coerce him into working without compensation, adding another layer to their complex and strained relationship.
Yo, you know, you owe us an album. And I'm like, excuse me, my friends, but I don't owe you shit. You owe me money. You know what I'm saying? So if you can come over with the rest of this dough, if we can come up with the rest of the album.
The relentless pressure and harassment from Diddy eventually took a toll on Craig Mack, a person known for his easygoing and peaceful nature. He became so distressed and overwhelmed by the constant threats and strife that he reached a breaking point. In a moment of despair, Craig contemplated drastic and regrettable actions, even considering the unthinkable as he grappled with the turmoil caused by Diddy's actions.
I had a in my lap. And I'm sitting there, I'm talking to God, I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this.
In a deeply troubled state, Craig Mack had contemplated taking extreme measures, including the possibility of harming Diddy if the threats and harassment persisted. For Craig, it had become a matter of survival, as he believed that if he didn't assert himself and defend his well-being, Diddy's actions could have lasting and ruinous consequences for his life and career.
But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's going to be trying to kill me, I'm going to have to do something first or do something to prevent that from happening.
In a truly astonishing turn of events, something remarkable happened that would shock both Craig Mack and those who hear this story. At a time when Craig was contemplating such a drastic act, fate intervened. He had a transformative moment while listening to gospel music on the radio, an experience that completely altered his heart and perspective in an instant. This divine encounter shifted the course of his life in a profoundly unexpected way.
When I turned the station, all this gospel music came on.
In a mere moment, Craig Mack experienced a profound transformation as all thoughts of violence vanished from his mind. He realized that such actions were contrary to his faith and deeply repented for the troubling thoughts that had troubled him. This pivotal incident seemed to offer Diddy a second chance to seek redemption in his own life. The profound impact of this experience led Craig to distance himself from the Hollywood lifestyle entirely.
I knew that it was God talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way it made me feel emotionally, I broke down, started crying all over the place in the car.
Now the legend is dead, and people are still talking. Following Craig Mack's passing, DJ Scratch shared additional details about the services held in his memory. Surprisingly, Diddy was reportedly unaware of the recent memorial. DJ Scratch's statement raised some eyebrows, as he mentioned that he was the only famous person in attendance, shedding light on the relatively low-key nature of the memorial service.
DJ Scratch comes out and says he was the only celebrity at Craig Mack's funeral.
According to DJ Scratch, the memorial service was organized by one of Craig Mack's childhood friends, since his friends and associates were not permitted to attend the actual funeral. Interestingly, Diddy had offered to cover the funeral expenses, but this gesture was declined by Mack's fellow church members. DJ wrote in a post, "When I left Craig's memorial service, I called Diddy to thank him for giving Craig the platform for the world to know Craig Mack's music. I told him I just left the service. He said, 'They buried Craig already. What service are you talking about?' He didn't know about the memorial service." Diddy offered to pay for Craig Mack's funeral, but the religious community Craig was in declined. None of his friends or colleagues were allowed to attend his funeral. Diddy respected their wishes. Craig was immediately buried on the property where he lived. Yesterday's service was a memorial for Craig's friends in New York and for fans to attend, thrown by Craig's childhood friend Alvin Toney. A significant portion of DJ Scratch's post focused on his personal history and connection with Craig Mack, primarily serving as a clarification of his earlier remarks. His initial comments had sparked criticism directed towards Diddy, and this subsequent post aimed to provide more context and insight into the situation surrounding Craig Mack's memorial and funeral. If you look at my post the day Craig passed, I praised Diddy for signing Craig because I saw what he went through. He continued, "I said no famous people showed up to Craig's memorial service was weird because I saw so much love online, but I didn't see a line outside. If Diddy didn't say yes, there'd be no flavor in our ears. Salute, Diddy." He again took to Instagram to share more information about Craig's funeral, and the caption caught the attention of many people. He wrote, "I've never been to a service for someone famous, and I was the only famous person to show up. Very weird day today, but what puts a smile on my face is that lil bro was at peace way before he passed away. That's what matters most to me." People criticized Diddy heavily for his behavior. One of them wrote, "Flavor in Your Ear was the #1 single for a while, and that song made us all know who Craig Mack was. Sorry to hear that no celebrities, one, showed up at his funeral. Wow, where's the love?" Another one wrote, "Craig Mack was on the Special Delivery remix with G-Dep, Ghostface, and Keith Murray. That song was released back in 2002. Plus, when I used to hang in the lobby of Daddy's house around that time, 2003, 2004, I used to see Craig Mack hanging with Cease and D3eth. He had been in some contact with them over the years. DJ Scratch went on to disclose that Diddy had made an attempt to cover the burial expenses for Craig Mack, but this generous offer was declined by the South Carolina-based religious group to which Craig belonged. The property that DJ Scratch mentioned that Craig was buried on is owned by the religious group, a group that has been labeled a cult by former members due to its controversial practices and beliefs. However, amidst the criticism and controversy, music mogul Diddy eventually disclosed the reasons behind his absence at the publicized funeral of his late protege, Craig Mack. This revelation came weeks after Diddy had publicly praised the former Bad Boy artist's greatness. He also wrote in a tweet, "Hey, what's up y'all? I'm a little under the weather, but I wanted to take out the time just to pay respects to Craig Mack. He was the first artist that we released on Bad Boy, but he was more than just our first artist. He was such a sweet, kind, loving person. He was definitely a special individual, and I just want to make sure y'all know how important he is to the Bad Boy legacy. As an MC, he took an unorthodox approach, and he was a great man." Diddy's alleged true intentions regarding Craig Mack have indeed left the public shocked. In response to the uproar and public scrutiny, he appears to be taking action to rectify the situation. Diddy, as we said, is now in the spotlight as he attempts to clear up misunderstandings by returning all the music rights to the artists associated with Bad Boy Records.